Oh man. Oh, sorry about that. Super embarrassing. Daylight savings situation. Um, had no idea. Just got in. So covered in salt water, and I just had the baby eaten down at the ocean. Um, very much apologies to you guys for being 15 minutes late. Um, didn't realize until I got back in and checked the phone that I guess the daylight savings is today for you guys, but we don't have it down here, so it's still 6 o'clock. So now you're 2 hours difference. But welcome everybody. For those who stuck around, this is the Do Nothing Project, and true to the spirit of the Do Nothing Project, nothing happened for a great extent of time there, and now we're going to do deliberately nothing. Good to see people. So this time change might mess up other people as well. That's the age that we're living in, the age of travel plans being messed up. Like, that's happening in a huge way. We're just trying to figure out how we're going to get out of Costa Rica, and if we're going to go via the US and home, and because of all the coronavirus stuff. So everything's all up in the air. But anyway, wicked to see everybody. Who's here? I love it. I hope we didn't lose too many in the wait up. So I had a whole plan of what I was going to do, that I was planning to work out, but now I'm not going to do that plan because I didn't have the time to work it out. So let's just do a meditation on being in the moment, on responding spontaneously to whatever random shit that life throws at you. Very much about cultivating a kind of openness of the beginner, noticing the expectations that may have been there, and then deciding to just roll along with whatever the new thing is. And I have an idea for, maybe I'll do a practice a little bit about, as I guide this practice, I'm going to weave in a little bit of stuff from this Locke Kelly workshop that I went to this week. I don't know if you guys might know Locke Kelly. I've talked about, I think I mentioned him before here. Andrew can put a link down, but Loch Kelly. And he's a non-dual teacher from New York who has this really fun way of kind of pointing out instruction in his meditation guidance. And the way he would describe what he does is he starts from the solution and then works back. So as opposed to being in this developmental process of trying to build up concentration and clarity and equanimity, and it's slowly trickling down into the system and getting more established, it's more like he tries to orient you to a much more spacious and open awareness that's available right now, and then live from that place, and then look back at whatever's going on in your life, whatever part is up, whatever emotion might be happening. And actually, the way I guide is a little bit like that. It kind of weaves in some of those pointers anyway, but I might just play around with that a little bit in the guidance here, and we can just sort of see how it lands for you guys. It's good to be back. It was weird last week doing the Consciousness Explorers Club podcast. I was happy to do it, and I'm excited for that, having that monthly thing, but it felt definitely different than what we do here, which feels more, genuinely kind of community and more laid back. I mean, Shinten also is intense, so there was a lot of headiness around it. So this one's going to be kind of an antidote to that. So I'll just find my, where's my timer here? The bell. It's better. Maybe it's better. Does feel like family. Thanks, Fred. He's definitely a storyteller. I'm glad you liked him. Tina. He's amazing. I mean, there's a lot I could say about Shinzen. He's a very incredibly innovative teacher. I mean, he's sort of changed the way a lot of people think about practice, and he has a particular system that's really broad and fun and rigorous too. And I mean, he lives it. He lives in a very interesting state of consciousness. I mean, I've had so many conversations with him about how he experiences reality. But what was great about Shinzen back in the day was I had all these questions about these practices, and I felt like he was somebody that I could go to, and it was like going to an oracle, in the sense that he would never lie about he would only ever talk about experience. I mean, he would overlay it with stories and things, but if you asked him anything about the nature of experience, he would just kind of like respond from what he knows is true about experience. So you knew he would never lie, and he knew he was always basing it from experience forward, not about a concept, not about an idea. So I felt like I could inquire into all of these, whatever I wanted to ask about experience. I had this incredible phenomenologist who had so much experience, who was so clear and so accurate that he would always give this like very precise response. And so I basically, over hundreds of hours of talks with him, it helped me understand what I could say with confidence about reality, without ever going to an idea or going to speculation. Like, it really helped me kind of consolidate this core. Very cool. So I think that's like one of the most amazing things that about Shinzen. There's more I could say too, but so you guys are gonna you want to say hi, dude? This is my buddy Scott. We're teaching a retreat together. He's a movement guy. Here he is, all buffed out. He's helping Sarah give Eden a bath now that I've lost that right, because I was late doing this. But anyway, we're going to be doing a retreat down in Osa Peninsula in like 4 days or something like that. And people don't all cancel because of coronavirus. Okay. Are we on DST? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I don't really know what that means, but I'm going to do this guidance here. So let's go. Oh yeah, DST, Daylight Savings Time. We are. They're just not in Costa Rica. Okay, so start by, as usual with these sits, we'll do 25 minutes. If you got your own thing that you like to do, that's super fine. Or you can kind of follow along with this guidance. But it's going to be very improvisational. I like to start with a few deep breaths, kind of getting yourself organized. So as you breathe in, it's the upward motion, so stretching up the spine. Imagine someone's kind of pulling up maybe a string by the back of the head. If you're staying alert, it's really the point is that you want to have this relaxed alertness. And then as you breathe out, that's the downward motion, softening. And you can soften your cheeks and your jaw and the shoulders. And soften the belly. And just let this slight Buddha smile come to the lips, maybe the Mona Lisa smile. You're a little bit psyched about sitting, not quite sure what's going to happen, what little exploration we're going to do. Maybe connecting to the equanimity piece, which is just the kind of openness to experimentation. So just like we can be open to sounds, open to body sensations, open to the imperfections of the situation, we're also keeping an open mind around what might happen. So for this guidance, it really can be eyes. It's always eyes open or closed, whatever you like. I actually like it a little better with my eyes half looking at the ground in front of me, but that's just me. You can kind of experiment. But how we're going to start it off is a little different. The instruction Locke likes to give, which I like too, is start by kind of unhooking from thinking. So you're in thinking, you're wondering what's up. You're like, I'm getting ready to meditate. You're kind of like located behind the eyes. But the idea is to sort of see if you can kind of unhook from that and soften and sort of send your attention down into your body. So it's almost like there's an elevator and you're moving down the elevator and your attention sort of going down and you're noticing the feeling of your mouth and your jaw. And then on the next exhale, you can kind of, as you breathe out, you can notice the feeling of in the throat. And the feeling now kind of moving down into the chest. And it's what we're looking for here in this that's slightly different is it's not just like we're up on our head looking down at our chest. It's almost like, can the center of you go with you? So you're really feeling your own body from the inside, like feeling your chest as though you were tucked right up in the underside of your chest, as though the center of you were pressed up against the rib cage, looking out. And if this is all just weird and meaningless, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can use it as just an imagination thing we're playing with. But one thing we're definitely doing is we're trying to notice the feeling of being a body. We're coming down into the body. And what we're after is actually more like the sense of being a much broader awareness. So as you go down and you feel the body, kind of add the sense of space around the body to your awareness. So meaning the sense of sounds, sense of space. Are you going to meditate?
Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to find.
Okay, no problem. It's okay. So you're noticing your body, and now you're kind of beginning to notice sort of sounds in the environment around you. It might be very quiet, but there might be some ambient sounds. Definitely there's the sound of my voice. It might be just the sound of traffic or a fan or like a heater. So as you're noticing sounds, you'll want to kind of it might feel like you'll lose touch with the body, but try to keep the sense of both. And if your eyes are half open, you're including the visual world in this too. So it's like I'm looking out at the periphery. So I'm kind of seeing the periphery, the peripheral vision, the center. I'm feeling my body. I'm hearing sounds. I'm kind of like this big bandwidth of awareness. But you can do this with eyes closed too. You notice your awareness. That's aware of all that stuff. So it's sort of, I guess the question sort of we're asking is kind of how wide can you make the bandwidth of your awareness? Like aware of all these things, aware of your breath, aware of the feelings in your body, aware of sounds, maybe a little bit aware of space, aware of sight. And it's just kind of happening gently. And it's not like here's a key point, it's not like you're going out looking for it. It's more like you're just resting back. Like take a nice long out breath and just relax, resting back into your own awareness. That's what I'm kind of talking about. And now it's like you can just chill here. Just chilling here, kind of bemused by whatever arises, no expectations. Just being in this more open, broader awareness. Or if any part of this is too vague or too, I don't know, floaty or too much or too little, then in a way that's no big deal, you just maybe lightly pay attention to the breath or sounds. So you can, the anchor option is always there. It's always an option to work with a bit of a home base or just stay in this more broad place and explore a little bit what that's like. Okay, good. So from this kind of more panoramic, open sense of awareness, even if you do have working with the breath or the hands, the next kind of bit of it is more, it's less like that you're noticing a new thing. And it's more like you experiment slightly with noticing the same thing in a slightly different way. And what I mean by that is it's like you have the mental set that whatever you're noticing, whatever sound, whatever little body sensation, whatever sense of yourself around the eyes, whatever visual, you kind of have this attitude that it's all kind of just a little bit delightful. Not like over the top delightful. It's just this little bit of a frisson. It's like a little bit like you like it. A little bit like I like sounds. I like the feeling of a body. I'm kind of delighted by the little effervescence of it. All of which, and you know that it's all you, meaning it's all made out of your awareness. It's like, oh yeah, this is all me and I like it. And it's kind of, I have a little bit of affection towards it. I have love towards it. I have love for these sounds. I have love for this body ache. I have love for the sound of the heater. You just kind of have this slight attitude adjustment. And you're doing it in a way that's not phony. It's like whatever part of that feels like doable for you. You kind of just got this playful attitude, like you're a little bit wanting to crack up, even as you're sitting and doing very little of anything. Because this is all this open, expanded, spontaneous arising of awareness through you, behind you, above you, inside you. And as always, I mean, that sounds weird or not necessarily approachable, then just hang out with the breath. Because that's pretty excellent too. But really, the core movement of this practice is just you're kind of aware in this broader way, and you know you're that. You know you're the awareness, this big, wide awareness, and it's not located in your head. I mean, experientially, it's as much way out here on the edge, way out here on this edge, way out below you. Anything you're aware of is your awareness, and that's the real kind of TV screen of who you are, much bigger. And you try to blend out from whatever part thinks it's like the doer in the middle. And you just kind of go wide, spread out. Let yourself kind of rest back and just so the instruction here is we're just sort of resting back in our awareness. We're kind of aware of our bodies and maybe of space around us. We're kind of just chilling out in this broader awareness, in this bemused way, kind of enjoying whatever is arising and falling in experience. And we're practicing sort of knowing ourselves as this big, wide expanse, that we're not trapped in this sort of center line. There's this wider spread. And if it's easy, this is what we're doing. And if any part of this seems weird or tricky or, not instantly graspable, then you're just working with the breath or hands and the sounds in a laid back way. It all kind of goes in the same direction. The last few minutes here, just really call off the search. So any attempt at trying to get somewhere or straining or holding on or being deliberately concentrated, just see if you can kind of like unstick that part of the brain that's working hard and just let your brain collapse back like back into the back of your head and just relax back into your own awareness and just really just let go. It's like you're allowed to just completely coast here and just this is really just pure being practice, a pure kind of do nothing. But you are aware. And you might be aware and a bit drifty. You might be aware and a bit distracted. You might be, it's all good. Good. And if you're not already doing this for the last tiny bit, just see if you can slowly open the eyes. And as you do it, let your eyes have a kind of soft gaze and kind of notice the periphery of your gaze, your peripheral vision. So it's sort of like, let's keep the meditation going. So you're kind of going, you're aware of your body, the breath, and you're kind of aware of the periphery of what you're seeing and the sense of space. And can you just kind of be aware from here? So staying aware, but you're kind of aware from this wide bandwidth. And if there's thinking, it's kind of just one of the things happening. Don't like, if you notice yourself totally collapse right into thinking, just relax back into this more spacious awareness. So you're aware of the periphery around your gaze, you're aware a little bit of your body. And just notice if that feels different than maybe the way you're normally aware. Kind of just steep in this for a little bit here, the last couple minutes. And maybe there's that slight Buddha smile or Mona Lisa half smile, like a slight sense of bemusement about the random hilarity of existence. And one kind of thing we can do at the very end is notice what kind of part wants to come to the foreground, meaning like there might be a part of you wondering about when it's going to be over, or wondering what you're supposed to do next, or wondering about anything. It's like there's a kind of, or maybe a part that's annoyed about something, or a part that's vaguely thinking about this thing that happened in the past. And try to see if you can kind of just notice that from this more broader awareness. So you're kind of like a little bit feeling your body and aware of the space around you, and then you're bringing a little bit of awareness to your thinking, and you're not so much in it, so embedded in it. You're in a slightly broader way, and just notice if that changes how you experience that. Just playing around here. Just a minute left. And then it's just the last little thing into your awareness, kind of bring the idea of this community, all these people meditating together around the world, kind of aware that we're all in this together. This exact moment we're calibrated, connected through time and space, doing this simple meditation. And just kind of being aware of that connection. And when you're ready, if the eyes are maybe already open, or if they're closed, they can open, and we're good. Let's start practice. That was fun. Yeah, I didn't really think I was going to do that. I was going to do something about confidence and trickle down, and probably do that next week. But fun to kind of play around with those. That's just a slight variation on what we would maybe ordinarily do. But if you're interested, this guy Locke has all kinds of really fun practice for kind of like unhooking from here and kind of getting down to the body in this bigger space. And he has a whole progression, and it's really fun to play around with. He has a book called Effortless Mindfulness I'd recommend. His whole thing is small glimpses many times. These little glimpses of kind of going out and staying in this more panoramic space. And what's it like hanging out there? Yeah. I felt the community too, Brooke. Yeah. I always have better meditations. It's amazing. Actually going to send out a piece tomorrow about the practice of guiding, really as a part of an encouragement around people thinking about guiding a friend and what it does, the way it kind of that does something about being in proximity with people and kind of like feeling like you're kind of holding it down for someone, creates a certain charge and deepens the mindfulness. It's pretty interesting. So Diana asking about thoughts on, John likes the elevator down. Nice, dude. Diana asking about thoughts on welcoming pain. Yeah. So when you have any kind of discomfort, physical, emotional, in a meditation, you kind of have the two basic options. I've talked a little bit about this before, are turn towards, focus towards, or focus away. So you can deliberately kind of just decide, the pain's a bit intense right now. I don't really want to go into it. I mean, of course, you can always move your leg or whatever if you got that. And you can decide to just focus away. So you're focusing on the breath and you're letting the whole real estate of your kind of curiosity fill that space. And then that kind of just often makes the pain, the discomfort more bearable, like, because you're just the attention's not going to it. It's sort of common sense. But of course, there's also the classic kind of meditative skill of welcoming and going into it. You always want to welcome it in the sense that, unless you want to just move and try to get rid of it, which is fine. But in terms of if you're sitting and you've got discomfort, you always want to have an attitude of like, well, this is here now. So that's the equanimity. You're going to welcome it to a certain degree. But either you welcome it and let it be in the background and in the foreground focus on something else, or you welcome it and try to go directly into it by you kind of titrate in. You just let yourself get curious about the sensation of pain itself. Where are the edges? Where's the center? Can you feel it a little bit more as you open to it? That can and then maybe it gets a bit intense. You might back off and then go in again. And that can actually begin to kind of break up the discomfort. Because a lot of the thing with pain is that there's the pain itself, but that's really the smallest part of it. The bigger part of pain is all the around it, all the bracing and the fighting and the they call the second arrow stuff. That is where all the suffering is. So if you can kind of go into it and let all that stuff go, most pain gets a lot more bearable. It's like an insanely huge life skill. And that's why in a lot of more hardcore meditation contexts, they work with a lot of pain, because it's just a great teacher. Okay, so good to see everybody here. Welcome, Brazil. What do we got here? Enjoyed the start as an invitation to feel the body, and then when you mentioned enjoying the sensations and sounds around you, I felt that in my body. It was a bit of a tingling, like joy in body. Totally. So in the paradigm that this guy Locke is interested in, I mean, he sort of basically talks about the paradigm that every contemplative tradition talks about in a way, but he has a particular development that kind of makes it more explicit. For him, it's about once you kind of know yourself as this bigger awareness, and that's your real identity, and then you realize that everything happening within it is part of you in a way, and that's also just accurate from the point of view of experience. It's happening in your awareness, but you know it as you in this sort of delighted, open-hearted way, and there's this feeling that's kind of what they would talk about as blissful within Hinduism. This feeling of just kind of that's pleasurable. It's not over the top, like you're in an orgy pleasurable. I just more like, I mean, not that an orgy would be pleasurable. I wouldn't know. Who knows? But just more like feeling good. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about it. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to open up all the questions and get some prepared for you guys, because on account of being confused about daylight savings. The next time. Shar says, felt some nerves at the beginning, but then it went well. That's normal. A little bit of anticipation. What's up? I think you start to settle. Thanks, guys. It's good to hang out. Oh, cool. Adam says, first retreat next month at 1440. Cool. Yeah, in terms of all the retreats, as far as I understand, they're all still on. It's up to the retreat centers. I'm planning to go. I got my tickets. But we'll see how all this rolls out in the next few weeks, It's possible the retreat centers might decide to pull the plug on some of these things. So fingers crossed not, but what matters is we get through all this, and without getting all freaked out, but being smart too. Good to hang out with you guys. Oh, Tim's asking, where do we send questions when we're not here? You can just send them. There's a form on my website, contact page. Send in a question. I try to get to them. I'm slow, I got to admit, and getting slower because the questions are piling up. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. So next week it will be the same. It'll be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but I'm thinking it'll be 6 o'clock my time here in Costa Rica, obviously. And so you'll have to figure it out for you, but it'll be whatever 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is in your time zone. Good to hang out with everybody. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. That's Wednesday. Thanks, Andrew. Dude, thanks for your help. Thanks, Milan. Thanks, Lily. Thanks, Tristan. Bye, everybody. Awesome community. Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you for everyone for hanging out and not abandoning after me not showing up for 10 minutes.